it definitely isn't what I expected.
Tell me, start at the beginning, Dave. Where are you actually from?
Well, I'm from the New York area, New Jersey. That's where I've lived for about the past 10 years. I was raised in Los Angeles, raised my children in Las Vegas, moved east because of my wife's illness, find better doctors. For many years, even with my wife, we would look at a foreign affairs website just to see these people from all over the world that are willing to change their life.
She didn't get jealous?
No, she used to tell me, oh, come, look at this one. It was great. And then you're seeing other lands and where people live and such. Where back when I was young, you weren't allowed to look at Soviet area.
Yeah.
So it was interesting for us both. Never thinking that someday I'm going to actually go on a tour, because she wouldn't be with me anymore. But ultimately, she passed away from cancer 5 months after my daughter passed away from cancer. So I, to put it mildly, was pretty devastated. I didn't want to do anything. I remember telling my children that I'm going to move into the basement of a 3-flat that I owned, and I'll call them every Saturday, and if one Saturday I don't call them, call the police to come and check on me because I'm gone. And I really just didn't care anymore. But I knew that, because of my religious beliefs, I couldn't take my own life or anything, and I wouldn't do anything like that. But it was all just, I wasn't happy, let's put it that way. I missed her. That was, she passed away in January of 17. So 2 years ago, a little more now. And about a year later, my daughter came home and said, I need to get up out of the chair and go someplace. She goes, take a trip, travel, go do something. She jokingly said, if nothing else, it'll get you out of that robe and I can wash it for you finally, But I started thinking that my wife and I used to go on trips. We used to take cruises. I don't want to do any of that because I'll be surrounded by other couples and I'd just be devastated because I'm alone. I don't want to go on a tour to Europe because I'm with other couples and I'd be devastated. So what can I do? And I remembered loveme.com. And I got on it and I said, there's a tour coming up. It'll be nothing but single guys. So I'll feel right at home. I get to go to a country. I don't have to meet women. I could just go to travel and be a tourist. And at the same time, maybe, interact with some people again. To coin a phrase, get out there. I looked at the site, I saw there was a tour coming up and said, why not? I booked the tour right away, joined the site, booked the tour, and it was great. The way a foreign affair handles everything, the setups and such, and the schedules and everything was exactly what I needed, what I wanted to look for. And I did. It was a bunch of nice guys. The tour leader.
Which was a great guy. I happen to know him.
Yeah, okay. He was a great guy. He helped out a lot too. The staff is incredible. It was just really nice, And I really felt at home and I felt comfortable. And then we came to Social in Kiev. And now I understand when I was 20 years old and used to go to a discotheque how the women used to feel.
Right.
Because, I had 23-year-olds coming up to me, beautiful women, don't get me wrong. Oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. All the way up to 50-year-olds and everything in between. And I wasn't really interested in dating or anything, but I'm also a realist. I'm not interested in dating a young girl. I'm a little older here. I'm 60 years old. What am I going to do, So I've already raised my family, So I really, it was somewhat uncomfortable for me because that wasn't really what I was there for. And because of that, I didn't want to go to the next city,
which was
Poltava.
That's right.
I was not interested in going. I did not want to go to another Social.
I remember you telling me I didn't want to go.
Yeah, I even said, no, I'll pay for a hotel myself. I'll stay. It's not a big deal. I'll just sightsee around Kiev. I mean, it's fine. This is the capital. And that's really what I wanted to do. And you and Helen with AFA talked me into it. You kept telling, no, just go, just go. And despite my reservations, yeah, I said, okay, fine, I'll go. I'll just catch a cab the next day if I don't like it or whatever and come back. We talked about that. And I came. I didn't even go on the tour of the city. I just stayed in the room. And then when it came time to go to the social with the rest of the group, I wandered on over to the club and I walked in, and I'll never forget it. Someone who didn't even want to go here, who wasn't looking for a date, let alone a real connection. I walked into the club and there was this woman sitting at the corner of a booth, at the corner of a dance floor in the booth, sitting on the end. And I hate to say cliches, but I mean, stopped me in my tracks. And there was nobody else there. And I felt like a 15-year-old boy in high school that had a crush on some girl. My interpreter, Ina, who was wonderful, oh, go talk to her. And I, oh, no, no. And then I remember saying, look at her eyes. And she said, yes. And I said, they're sad. I said, she's gone through something like what I've gone through. And to jump forward a little bit, it was like my wife and God brought us together. I knew what was happening in her life before I even said hello to her. I just had this uncontrollable feeling for her that if I can do anything in my life to make this woman happy, that's what I want to do. And ultimately, between glances back and forth, because every time she would look my way, I would look away, and every time she would look away, I would look at her. And then one time, our eyes met and she smiled at me, and I even beat the interpreter over there to talk to her. Sat down, we talked for maybe 6-7 minutes. She didn't speak English, and we exchanged phone numbers and email. And I found out that her husband had died from cancer in between the time that my daughter and my wife had died. So about the same time, 2 months before my wife had passed away, her husband passed away. And she did not want to go to America. She was very, I live here, my friends are here, this is it. And that she had 2 daughters, and it was just nice talking to her. I remember she asked me if I liked to dance. And look at me, no. if it means physical activity, the answer is no. But I thanked her for her time, and I just went and stood, and the rest of the night I didn't do anything but watch her. And every time anybody would walk up to that table, I don't know why, I just felt like, if you talk to her, so help me, And Ina, again my interpreter, kept saying, go ask her to dance or something. And finally I told her, I said, listen, if they play a slow song, I'll ask her. And again, I guess God heard that, because the next song was a slow song. I said, okay. And about that time, I saw somebody walking towards her table, and I ran from the 3rd floor down to her table and asked her if she would dance. I didn't even get all the words out, and she was already saying yes and getting up. So we danced. I found out she told me that she was 37, but in reality, she was 38. Yeah.
She didn't know whether or not you liked older women.
Mm-hmm. Well, 38 was too young for me. That's not what I'm looking for, but I couldn't help it. And then we both had talked about this later on, which we'll get to, but the only way this could have happened is with divine intervention, to put it mildly. I mean, there's her husband and my wife got together, and they went to the big guy and said, listen, we have to get these 2 together, because believe me, if any couple need each other, it's them. And let me tell you, I need her so much. She is my life now. And I thank God all the time for her.
Join men from all over the world as they take a trip and find their future brides. Interested? Check out our website at. Don't forget to click on our red subscribe button and notice bell to get updated every time we add something new.